Why would you apply for a green card? When do you apply? What's the process? We are going to talk about green cards today, my friends. Hi, my name is Kaushik Ranchod. I'm an immigration attorney that's been practicing for over 20 years. And I want to welcome you today to Green Card Day. Let's dive into it. So first of all, let's talk about 6 reasons why you may want to consider applying for a green card. Reason number 1. A lot of you might think, oh, well, a green card is just a work permit. It allows me to work. Well, yes, it does allow you to work, but it is so much more than that. It also opens up so many more doors for you and avenues. For instance, it could give you access to healthcare, education. Those are some of the types of social services that having a green card can help you open the doors for. Not only that, depending upon the family member you want to sponsor, you could also sponsor other family members and give them the opportunity to live their version of the American dream. The green card also allows you the freedom to stay in the United States as well. So unlike other visas where you have to keep on renewing it, yes, the green card is valid for 10 years. You'll need to renew it after 10 years. But it's not something like an H-1B visa that's good for 6 years, and in some situations you can renew the H-1B after that, and you always have to be mindful of that. With the green card, you don't have to worry about that. So by having a green card, it allows you financial stability. It allows you the personal feeling of safety and stability to be able to live in the US. And we're gonna be talking about the process at the end of the video, so you might be wondering, okay, yes, this is great. How do I go about it? We're gonna get into that. Let's look at additional reasons of why a green card is beneficial. It can also provide a pathway to citizenship. So if you're interested in becoming a citizen, if you want to eventually be able to vote, who's going to be a president, for instance, a green card does not allow you to do that, but a citizenship does allow you to do that. So in 3 years or 5 years, depending upon, for instance, if you're married or not, or not if you're married, how you obtain your permanent residency. And if you continue to be married, if your permanent residency was through a spouse, you could apply, for instance, in 3 years. The other issue is that it provides you a lawful way to stay in the US to prevent deportation as long as you're complying with immigration laws. And you can travel outside the US, not worry about having to have a visa when re-entering when you have a green card. Now you're ready to apply for your green card. How do you avoid common mistakes when applying for a green card? When applying for a green card, there is so much paperwork, there's so much documentation. You'll want to make sure that you have careful attention to detail. Let's look at the checklist of what you want to do to avoid those mistakes. First, you want to research eligibility requirements. You want to make sure that you're even eligible. A lot of times people apply when they're not eligible, and that causes a lot of wasted time, a lot of wasted money, and then the application gets rejected. If you're uncertain, you can talk to an immigration lawyer to determine whether or not you are eligible. You want to make sure that when completing the forms, they're done accurately, completely. You want to make sure you don't have any missing information and that the right person signs the forms. You won't believe it, but sometimes people make that type of mistake. You'll want to submit the right type of documents. That can include birth certificates, for instance, marriage certificates if you're applying based off of marriage, ID page of your passport, of your prior visas, if you're a student, your prior I-20s. And you want to make sure that everything is submitted in English. If you have a document that's, for instance, in Spanish, you'll need to have that document as well as a certified translation of that document or an appropriate translation of that document as well. Now, this is one of the biggest mistakes, so please listen. You want to disclose all of the appropriate information. So that includes your criminal history. Don't try to hide it. And this is going to also come up when you do your biometrics. That's the reason that USCIS performs a biometric check. This includes previous marriages. This includes your previous immigration history on questions that ask that specific information. Also, prior immigration violations or visits to the US. The biggest mistake is lying. Lying will come back to haunt you. It will create more problems than it solves. You'll want to double check dates and locations to make sure that those are accurate. If you have criminal violations or immigration violations, you will definitely want to talk to an immigration lawyer. You can contact us as well. We'd be happy to discuss that with you. Now, let's talk about the immigration process. Well, the process is different depending upon whether or not you're going to apply for adjustment of status or you're going to apply for consular processing. The typical green card, whether it be unemployment or family, is obtained through a petition that is filed. If it's through employment from your sponsor, that would be the I-140 petition, or through family, that would be the I-130 petition. That's how the process starts. If you're in the United States and if you're doing it through family, you can do what's called a one-step with the I-130 and the 485. If you're doing it through employment, you could also do a one-step if the priority date is concurrent as well. Once the petition is approved, then you can submit the forms and supporting documents as part of the second step, unless you did what the one-step application where you filed everything together. Now, if the government issues a limited number of green cards in your category each year, you'll need to wait for your turn to apply. This wait could be months or even years. You'll also need to attend a biometrics appointment to have your fingerprints taken and your photo taken as well. You may also have to attend an interview as well, either at the U.S. Embassy if you're doing consular processing or locally at the USCIS immigration office. At the interview, they'll ask you questions about your immigration history. If you're married, they'll ask you questions about your marriage, and they'll review your application. Then, after you complete the steps, you'll be waiting for a decision, and then hopefully you'll celebrate. Yay! Well, I want to thank you and acknowledge you for taking the time to watch this video. By watching this video, you're bettering yourself. By bettering yourself, you're bettering your family. And by bettering your family, you're bettering the world. Thank you. Bye for now.